we're gonna look at the S&P where it is, and then we're gonna look at where the coins are on the daily, so that you get the bigger picture and the space that they're moving in, because it can be a little bit confusing when you're looking at the 1 hour space for 3 days, switching on to the daily space. And then we're going to do the trade setups and see the levels that we might be going through this week. So I'm going to start with the S&P. Now, the S&P has done a beautiful lift on the day. Unfortunately, this lift on the day is accompanied by a large stochastic RSI divergence. So I don't think this is to be ignored here on the daily. It's also hitting a trend line, and I was telling you on Friday that this is very similar to what's been going on with Bitcoin. It came up to the daily divergence line, and then it started coming down. The 4 hour is not in a divergence at the moment, but my no, this is not relevant anymore. My divergence indicator was showing a pivot, but this pivot already played out with this drop here. So I have the divergence line here, and it's up above it. We have yet to see where today is going to go. We haven't opened yet on the S&P. It looks like there is still space for the 4 hour to go up, and it looks like there's still space for the 1 day to sustain it. And just because we're doing a general overview, the weekly is also going up and showing bullish divergences. So it looks like we are bound to make a nice recovery on the stocks. We might be going up to this line, the overflow, this line here, where Bitcoin was rejected. So this drop was the rejection of this overflow area, as I'm going to show you on the daily. And we might be going up and back testing this yellow line, which is an intermediary support and resistance level. I put these yellow lines on the daily because, again, I'm seeing the technical top formation, but also I know that this is an important support and resistance line. So the levels are all in pink, and the intermediary levels are yellow. So that's where we are on the S&P. It looks like the uptrend will continue, which again supports our crypto scenario with a lift and a recovery swing before another leg down. Now let me check the DXY, because I believe that the DXY is, there we go. I believe that the DXY is bound to make a recovery to the upside, but that is that's not yet confirmed on the support and resistance lines. So here we don't have the previous midline of the channel, this yellow line, yet confirmed as support. We need that if we wanted to go up, and in my opinion, I think it might push down before coming back up. So pushing down to find support here and then coming back up would be in line with the DXY comes down, crypto goes up, the S&P goes up, and then the DXY goes up, crypto goes down, and here we are doing our third leg down as we should. And again, corrections are necessary. The 3 steps down are necessary on the daily and the weekly stochastic RSI resets. Those corrections are necessary in order to gain strength and move upwards. That's the daily, and I'm gonna show you the 4 hourly for the DXY. Okay, so both the 4 hour stochastic has bullish divergences going up, but again on the 4 hour, now I'm more confident about the 4 hour continuing upwards momentum when the 4 hour goes above the midline of the Bollinger. So again, I am more not comfortable, may not be the right word. It's more probable for a movement up to continue when we have support, which is something that I constantly keep telling you. So yes, we see the turning of the stochastics up. We see the regular RSI turning up. We have bullish divergences all the way down here. So for about a week or so, we've had bullish divergences coming down. So now it's only normal that momentum needs a breather to the upside, but we still haven't had a support for the upside. So yes, we would have technically, if we were to trade the DXY, we would have technically 3 yeses for the upside. I would still love to see a trend line yes. I would still love to see a support yes, and that would be the midline, the yellow line here, midline of the channel, or the midline of the Bollinger. Okay, so having said that, we can see that there is some confluence between the movement of the DXY and the stocks. So the DXY, if the DXY is going to move up, the stocks probably will come down for a breather, and then they might continue upwards. But they still look like they could go upwards. For crypto, this is a little bit with what's happening now on our fundamentals. This is yet to show itself, because we need to gain the support that we've lost in terms of MA support now, rather than trendline support. We are still holding daily trendline support, but at inferior levels. What do I mean by that? I'm going to start with Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is clearer in terms of where it is. Ethereum is somewhere in between 2 levels. So Bitcoin is clearer, and it is Bitcoin is on the 15,600 support and resistance line, and it's holding it. Now Bitcoin seems to be moving Bitcoin seems to be moving in this space at the moment, and it is the space of the 15-minute arc, and this space this space is between this white divergence line and this support and resistance line. Now, we have had a period of accumulation. Let me just remove, actually not remove it. I'm going to move it here. We've had a period of accumulation here, and we dropped out of that, and that's where this target comes from. And I was really conservative when I set this target for the drop. So at the moment, we still haven't met this target. Again, I've yet to see. I was holding out for a 17,000 short here, saying because there was a channel here with a $17,000 Bitcoin target, and I was holding out, and eventually I closed it because there were too many double bottoms here that weren't reaching the 17,000. But I said at that moment, I've yet to see a daily pattern that doesn't meet its target. I'm still at the same. There, I accepted my defeat, and well, it wasn't a defeat because I still took profit, but I had planned to keep it open for the 17,000 because that was the target. But now again, I believe that this target of 13,700 will be met. However, as it happened then, because Bitcoin is right now doing a lot more volatile things than it used to. There are a lot of swings and a lot of tests here. It used to be smoother in patterns. So now we are in this space. If I am to measure this space out, which is what I'm going to do on the 1 hour, and to put it down here, there it is. There's so much confluence between consolidating in this space and consolidating in this space, and both of them meeting the target of 13,700, or the lower one, 13,300. So there's too much confluence for those not to play out. Okay. Now, what can happen while we're here? We can see the stochastic on the day has turned up. Stochastic on the 4 hour has turned up. and the stochastic on the 1 hour is maxed out. So generally when that happens, we have a bigger trend. The daily and the 4 hourly are obviously pushing up, but the 1 hour right now, I think it's pushing down, it's going to push down for a double bottom structure somewhere around here in order to make the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the way to mountain peak in our 15-minute arc. You know that the pattern of the arc, again, most often than not, shows itself and completes itself. So this is what I believe we're in for. We have a double top situation here on the 1 hour, and I believe that the next cycles, the next 1 hour cycle, up until let's say 2 hours into New York, maybe the 5 p.m. my time, the 3 p.m. UK time candle, where the European and the American session meet, and it's got a great volume, that candle. Maybe that candle will do the correction of this and give us a double bottom structure to follow on the way up. So, but the daily and the 4 hourly are clearly heading up for a correction. Now, that correction, I believe, will be in this space. So I was really generous, and I said, okay, maybe we can go up to backtest the previous line of the 18,700, but we could also stay along the lines of the previous double top at around 17,600, let's say, approximately. So that's where that correction can go to. However, I made the point on the ETH chat this morning. This was the rejection here that took us down to here and consolidated here and took us down to here. So I believe we are in a similar situation, same but different. Now here we were in this sideways for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. 3 weeks of, oh Jesus, just sideways. This sideways is, fair enough, quite generous in the range. Bitcoin is offering a 13%, was offering a 13% range there. But again, this could be a this might not be the case here. So it may or may not give us this juicy range, but I believe it will give us the same pattern. So we consolidated. If you're looking at how similar this is, so it went sideways, threatened to break up here, broke the white divergence line, met the yellow divergence line, and it was constantly pushing against it again, showing signs of breaking it. Here we are consolidating here, breaking the white divergence line, breaking the yellow divergence line, actually moving a step further on the way up, showing signs like we wanna break upwards, and then breaking below the yellow divergence line, breaking below the white divergence line, and here we are in this space. So this would be the space that I see us moving in. I think I said it on Friday, and I will be repeating myself, but now I have a little bit more data as to where those swings will be going. Because now I can put some fibs on and approximate some ranges. But I think that this drop here was this drop here. This sideways here is going to be this sideways here. And after this sideways here, we're coming down to meet the edge of this beautiful descending channel. And you know, descending channels 70 to 30% break upwards, but when they're ready. So now we have 1, 2 touches to the top, 1, 2 touches to the bottom, except for the swing that moved into the channel, which I generally don't count because I noticed the most often than not, it's those 3 touches outside of that swing. So we would need one more touch to the bottom, one more touch to the top, and then probably we're going to stay there around the top line and consolidate sideways in the bear market and then break upwards. So this would be let me show you the 90, this one. I think this is it. Yeah, the 2018 bear market, where we had this channel here. Again, I don't wanna change to Bitstamp, but it's because it's the same principle. So this was the channel. It broke out of the channel, consolidated sideways, and then it did a final lift above the 20 EMA on the daily and continued upwards. So that was the 2018 here bear market lift off. So I believe we might be in for something like that, but in the meantime we need that drop down here just to make sure we have this channel swing complete. So again, same but different. I don't believe we're going to be in sideways for 3 weeks as we were then. We had more time then. We only have till the 21st of December. Oh God, it's very long. It's more than a month. So I was looking to see where the apex of this triangle is, but it is quite far off into December. So I hope we won't have this sideways. But again, even if it is a sideways, this one here was an 11% sideways, and this one would be if up to the previous level, it would be 18%. So it would be beautiful to trade it up and down as a consolidation. Now the big if is, I'm going to show it to you when I do the trade setups now. Okay, so the big if is, we're going up for mountain peak, let's say around 18,600, the previous level. We're coming down for third drop, and when we're coming down for third drop, we instead, so let's say when we're coming down for third drop, instead of finding support here, going up for final peak, final bounce, final retrace, and then breakout, something happens. So this would be the normal swing of events. So there would be some smaller swings in this triangle formation. Not unless when we do this mountain peak, something horrible comes out in terms of fundamentals. The way the FTX news came out last week, and it was absolutely horrendous. And at the weekend we had again the crypto.com dropping and other events like such. Not unless when we get there, there's some horrible news and we come down to and I'm putting 11,000 approximately. Let me just check my, yes, it's 10,300. That would be the channel limit. 10,000. There. So that's my how can I say, the same but different variation that I have in mind. Because when we were dropping here, I think there was a Terra Luna thing there, but the Terra Luna had its implications, and it was a big event to happen. I don't think Terra Luna compares in size to what's happening now. Like what's happening now to me is a lot more severe than what happened with Terra Luna. So if we get something along the lines of, I don't know, maybe a stable coin dropping, or some sort of, again, another financial crypto disaster, When we get to Mountain Peak, we might not see this volatility sideways. We might actually just see a drop. So when we get somewhere around this line, I would be very cautious to do two things. First is to secure profit, and second, to secure profit with a stop loss, and second, to see how this line is held, because maybe this line just breaks. It just breaks and it starts spilling. And I'll take you again to the daily. So this is where, again, this was Mountain Peak. This was double top. Let me just put some fibs on the daily here. So this was double top, and it only did an 0.5 correction. It came up for Mountain Peak, and this swing did a This swing did a 702 correction down, and then it broke the one and started spilling down. So here in the past, as soon as we broke this middle low, the previous local low, I'm going to just put here. This is what happened technically in 2 days. A 22% drop. And you might say, oh, but we've had that. This is what this was. This is what I believe we've just had. We will be consolidating this week, and after that we'll get something like this over the space of 2 days. And then the trend will continue, because the low has been broken, and it will continue to the next daily level of support, which I believe is the 13,300. And again, it might come lower. This one came a little bit lower, and it might meet the trend line. But I don't, again, because I don't have the only information I have about these levels is from 2019. So these are the 2019 levels here that I look for this to hold as support. So because of the lack of information, I don't know how solid these ones would be in terms of taking that 22% drop. But what I wanted to show you is back to our weekly setup. We might see a Mountain Peak, and then from this Mountain Peak, not too much. Of course, not necessarily in this descending straight line, but not another couple of days of sideways. We might see a big push down. So keep that in mind. Again, I would be looking to put a stop loss here, depending on where the previous high is, the way I did last night with I told you to do last night, and I did last night with my XRP trade. Put a stop loss above the previous local high, so that I give it space to move down, without, of course, watching it and thinking that I might be losing my profit if it bounces up for this. Because if it bounces up for this, a third swing up, you might be again waiting for another couple of days until it gets to this bottom line. Okay, so let's see what we have. Let's see what we have on the 1 hourly for Bitcoin to set up some trades. I'm gonna remove these, because these are, again, how I explain it to you. Now, I just posted this. We've tested 3 times the 20 on the 20 MA on the 4 hour. Generally, it takes 3 tries, and after the third rejection, it consolidates, and the 4th time it breaks it. So I believe that right now we're about to come down and find a double bottom situation somewhere around here, and then head up for Mountain Peak. So I will be taking my fib levels. I'll be putting them here. Okay. And here I would be looking for a 786 correction here. So from where we are right now, I believe we are coming down for a 786 or a 702 correction. Again, XRP is a very specific coin to trade because it's it's almost religious in its 786 retracements. When I was trading Ethereum and Bitcoin, and I was talking to Roy, and he was like, "Oh, wait for the 786," and I said no, because both Bitcoin and Ethereum are not so consistent in terms of their fib retracements. They can go for the 05, the 702, or the 786, and once they break the 05, the 702 and the 786 are equally chosen, so there's no preference for any of them in particular. So that's why I always say, you might want to take your profit at the 702 because it's the more conservative one, or wait for the 786. But again, it might stop at the 702, so keep that in mind. So right now, I believe we're gonna come down here. So that would be the first trade coming down here, and then after that, we will be making a double bottom structure and moving up for mountain peak. And mountain peak could be somewhere around here. Let me put a note on it. Oh, look for mountain peak in the charts, in the indexes, mountain. Never mind, it's only caps, but that's okay. So this would be where I see again a mountain peak happening around the level of the double top formation. Also because of what happened previously around here. So it came up slightly. So this one was 32.2. This one was 31.5. Let me just check in percentages how much of a difference that is. It's 2%. So 2%. Again, I'm just comparing it on the daily with the previous pattern. So again, I think this would be a good level to take profit. You might want to follow, if you want to follow the indicators, the RSIs and the 15-minute vector candles, you might want to wait for a double top formation somewhere around here. But that's where I would be looking for to take profit. And after that, but again, this is something that I will check and adjust every day, because we are in a sideways range, and then we're going to come down to here. So these would be the 3 possible trades at the moment in terms of where we are. And in terms of the range that we are in. After these, so here personally, let me just check. Well, the range is quite large to trade here, but please be careful if you're trading the most narrow part of the triangle, this apex. This is where it's very volatile. The range is worth trading, absolutely. I can't tell you not to trade it, but you'll have to be watching your trades constantly. There'll be 15-minute trades, and you'll need to watch them constantly and take your profits, and be careful about your entries and your stop losses, because they can go a little bit below, a little bit above. This is where the games start being played. The first 2/3 of the of triangles. This would be the first third. This would be the second third, and this would be the third of the pattern. The first two are regular and are, how can I say, because of the volume and because of the space, they're clearer to trade. So be very cautious trading the apex after we get there. I won't be mapping the apex at the moment because we need to, there's no point mapping it at the moment because we are 3 moves at least away from the apex. Now, leaving the apex to the side, what I have here is, so considering we're moving in this area of consolidation, in this area of consolidation here, I have measured the range. There we go. And I put it at breakout somewhere around here. And this would be level 3. So this would be the breakout to the downside, and it is 13,600, again in line with 13,300 this level here, and 13,700 this level here. So again, meeting our daily levels. I don't know if Bitcoin's gonna go lower than 13,600 or 700. This is where I have my targets, my measured targets, considering the swings happen as I anticipate they will. I'm gonna move this line a little bit higher because now we seem to have a little bit more support. And I'm gonna adjust this target. So could Bitcoin go to 10K? Absolutely. Below 10K? Absolutely as well. I can tell you what my targets are on the daily channels and on the daily levels, and then confirm them on the local level. So I've adjusted the levels now. 14,000 is now the new target here, a little bit above where we thought, because I moved this line to have confluence with what happened here. I believe it's true to the current price action to hold it in confluence there. Where do we? Yes, yeah. That was just okay. So just a recap. The daily pattern shows that we have one more swing. Sorry, we are here. We have one more swing up, one more swing down, another smaller swing up, and then a bigger drop to the next level. That's what the daily pattern shows overall. And we also have the weekly stochastic that needs to get down to the bottom. We need to bring the weekly stochastic down to the bottom for this whole trend to be reset, and MACD can continue upwards as it is on the weekly, and for us to go into the bear market accumulation phase. So on the daily, we might be moving sideways within a generous trading range, one more swing up, one more swing down, one more swing up, and then the breakdown. And here are the levels on the daily, on the hourly. I believe this is a double top formation. It needs to come down for correction. We might have a double bottom situation around the previous support and resistance line, and then we're heading up for mountain peak. And I approximated mountain peak to the previous support and resistance line somewhere around here, but it could go a little bit higher. The previous mountain peak went up 2% higher than the double top, so nothing to write home about in terms of percentages, but again, something to keep in mind if you are trading. Go in with a 702 entry, and when you pick your stop loss, keep in mind that it might the peak might go 2% higher. So it's up to you whether you want to give yourself a more generous stop loss or keep it tight and do another entry. That's also a possibility. So that's it for Bitcoin. Do you guys have any questions? Because I know there's a lot of information, and I'm switching between the 1 hour time frame and the daily time frame, and it might be tricky to wrap your head around it.
No, this looks good for me.
Super. Okay, now Let me see before we move on to Ethereum. Okay. Now for Ethereum, Ethereum was the most most stubborn of them all this weekend. It just didn't want to. Correct further than the golden pocket. We have a daily stochastic and a daily RSI moving upwards. But the weekly is heading down, and the weekly, just like Bitcoin's stochastic, needs to correct to the bottom. We need to have that correction. You can see that we've had the correction here for the peak formation. We've had the correction here for level 2. We need another correction here for level 3, and then we are sorted. We are ready to move into our accumulation phase somewhere around here. I don't know if it's, again, just like with Bitcoin, I don't know if Ethereum's gonna go lower than 500, lower than another level is 600. My wedge target is 550, where we are right now. But if I move it for the next weeks or so, because we are on the weekly chart now, it could be a little bit lower, around 530. So this is the situation with Ethereum. It might. It doesn't have so much support, historic support in the past around these levels. So I can take the trend line as a reference where this is going to stop. Okay. Now, going back to the daily. Okay, so on the daily, again, I will make a slight adjustment of our daily levels because of what's happened recently. I would like to bring this line up closer. I know we have a lot of pierce throughs here, but it's closer to where we landed, closer. Again, it's in line with the historic lift here. So here I want to bring this level a little bit closer. And I think that would, on the weekly targets, again, this would be, no. I'll adjust it and I'll leave it here. And I'll put a marker to this, and we'll follow it when we get there. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. We still have the 1060 level to break, which I believe will happen. On the 4-hour timeline, now I want you to notice how nicely this is my 4-hour arc, and this white line, this massive white line. Okay, this massive white line is the support and resistance of these swings. So here's where it accumulated and it did a W pattern and lifted up, and then it broke down, came down to let me check to see how big of a correction it was here. This was a 786. So this whole swing did a 786 correction. And now what it's done today, it went up and back tested the previous support and resistance line, and it back tested the previous golden pocket support and resistance level. So here's a technical, a beautiful technical pattern for, we break it, we back test it, we get rejected, we come down. So again, for Ethereum, I believe that we might see some downward movement today. So we might come down to the previous level, maybe even break it and finally do a 702 correction, maybe, and then do a no. Sorry about that, guys. First, because I want to separate the trades. So first, a downward movement, and I will put it down to a 786 level. Why? Because we have a trend line there. Like, look, this is the red line here is the line that unites the previous two bottoms. We have 3 touches here, 3 pierce throughs. This is a solid support and resistance line. I fail to see how this won't get back tested before moving up. So that's the first trade that I see as a possibility for today. So the first one is finishing the correction here down to this line, and that would be a target of 1130. Again, please be careful and watch it, because we are talking about shakeout times now, and it's not like you've seen the volatility at the weekend with 1% or 2% spikes going up and down. And what those spikes do is they put out the high leverage traders. So the 20%, the 25xers, the 50xers, the 100xers, they're out. So that's the point of those spikes and of that volatility. It collects a lot of liquidity both ways, because it activates short orders and then it activates long liquidations. Here we have here I believe we'll see the move down today. Again, this move might take a while for the correction to happen. We might see it's 2 o'clock now. So if it's 2 o'clock now, about 3-4 hours, maybe 5 hours, first half of the New York session, we'll see it somewhere around here, the correction, and then we'll be moving up for Mountain Peak. And Mountain Peak, again, I'll be choosing it for the historic level of 1370. I'll put it at 1360. Just a little bit higher. Okay. Should I go? No. Do you know what? I'm gonna leave it here because I don't want to put more lines and more yeah. I'm gonna move this line a little bit higher. No, because I still want to. Okay, so this is where I'm going to leave Mountain Peak. I'm going to leave it at the same level as double top here, but again, I will be keeping you up to date if I see any possibility of this coming up higher. So if for instance it gets to this level and the 1 hour RSI or stochastic RSI is just getting going, there's no point taking profit at that moment. Let it run and max out, because again, we are on a move up. And after that, we will see, of course, a push down. So this would be Mountain Peak. No. Oh, again, I'm writing this. Mountain Peak. This would be third drop. Oh, no. Okay. There we go. And after third drop, I would, again, I would secure some profits here, and I would be mindful of this not being a very fast-paced drop. So I would secure some profits. Personally, again, it depends on how the indicators are at that moment. But I wouldn't necessarily be looking to trade so much the final peak, final bounce, final retrace. So the end of this, it's very messy. It's a bit like this. So even these swings were messy the way they were. But you still see one up, one down, one up, one down. So you see they're a little bit more spaced out between them. What happened here is in a tighter space, and you need to be very mindful and very careful. So again, I'm just saying that I would be trading after the third drop. I would be trading the final swings very, very carefully. And now I'm going to put the breakout target in. And here it is, the 1000 mark, which is again an important daily level. Now I will be moving, because of this target now, I will be moving level 3 a little bit higher, because I think it makes sense with this accumulation, because this is the space. So this is coming from this space. It's the breakout of that space downwards. It matches the daily levels, and this would be the new level 3 here, 1000 mark. So, and that would be a breakout trade down. So these are the, we have the 3 trades that are in the arc, and then we have the breakout trade outside of this. And again, to me, this is gonna spill more onwards past the 1000 mark. But until we get there, we need to map out the steps there, because again, Ethereum doesn't seem to be wanting to go there with a strong. There's no super FUD news about Ethereum that will push it down. But Ethereum is a level higher than Bitcoin, because Ethereum hasn't made a lower low. So Ethereum hasn't broken its June low yet. So that's why it's a little bit harder to TA in terms of where it's going. But there's no change in momentum. At the moment, there's no major support. There's no major support. The 4-hour just finished with a bearish pattern of it's an evening star. So this is generally showing rejection, and this usually pushes price action down. So again, it's within the limits of what we mapped. Nothing too big. Now I would be watching for two things. The first one is this correction downwards. If you haven't taken profit, so last night, if you haven't taken profit, if you waited for this, because again, Ethereum only reached the golden pocket. So if you haven't taken profits, now's the time you might want to take some profits. If you see a double bottom structure on the 15-minute with your 3 yeses for taking profits, take your profits, and then wait for a 702 entry, or when you see that double bottom structure, go in on a long. Take your profit and go in on a long. I just don't want to be waffling on, because I think you know these. Okay, so that's it from